What's up, everybody? Maddox here. Welcome back to the Poke Historian. We're doing one of my fireside chats. I wanted to briefly discuss Grail cards in the Pokemon hobby because I feel like the term Grail card is getting to a point where it's being thrown around just a little bit too loosely. And I wanted to kind of address that and see if maybe we could come up with a better definition for what a Grail card is or should be. So let's do a little history lesson with the Poke Historian, right? So the Grail portion of the term Grail card refers to the Holy Grail. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about the Holy Grail. Maybe a lot of people even know about it, but let's just quickly dive into it. At least in the Christian faith, the Holy Grail is supposed to be the cup that was used by Jesus Christ with his followers at the Last Supper before he was killed and crucified on the cross. And then apparently, when he was crucified on the cross, they used the cup to catch his blood. So this Grail is supposed to have all these mythical properties and magical powers and stuff like that. And people have been trying to find it for, I think, thousands of years, and no one has likely located it if it exists at all. But I mean, you got the story of King Arthur and the Holy Grail. You got the Crusaders from back in the day looking for the Grail. It's a big whole part of our Earth mythology, I would say, and beyond even just the Christian mythology. I think he was even featured in Indiana Jones, in the first movie. I don't know, I haven't watched that movie in a while, but I think it was. So, what are some of the factors then that make up, what the Holy Grail is? What makes this item so appealing, right? So, the first thing you have is, number one, it's very hard to find. People have been questing for it for a long time. And then related to that, obviously, it's very rare because, people can't seem to find it, and people have been chasing it for a long time. And then the final factor is that, obviously, it's a very... it's a very pricey item. It's worth chasing. It's something very powerful, and obviously, if it were to sell on the market, it'd be very, very pricey. And I think those three factors should go into what a Holy Grail Pokemon card should be. Number one, it's something you should be chasing for a while. Number two, it should be something that's fairly pricey, and number three, it should be something that's pretty hard to find. So let's go into the first factor, right? So you've been chasing it for a while. If you go on TCG Player or something and you find a card you like and then you buy it a week later and then you're claiming you've gotten your Grail card, I don't think that qualifies as a Grail card, for the terminology that I just gave you. It's got to be something you were looking for a while. It can't be something that you just found the other day and you clicked and bought it and now you've got your Grail. Congrats, I'm happy you got a new card. I'm sure it's a really cool card. I might even want the card myself, but that's not what a Grail card is supposed to be, okay? Number two, something that is fairly pricey. And look, I know everybody is at different income levels, and what's, pricey to one person may not be to another person. But it should at least be something where whatever income level you are at, it's a little bit pricey for you. If you're a multimillionaire, maybe buying a $2,000 card isn't a Grail. And I know this is a very subjective standard. What I'm trying to say, you go out, let's say that, you work a standard office job and you go out and buy a $50 card. It's not a Grail card, y'all. I'm happy you got the card. It's a cool card, great addition for your collection, but that's not what a Grail card should be, okay? That's just my definition for it. And then it should be something that's actually rare. The Holy Grail itself is a very rare thing. There's only one of it out there in the world, if it exists at all. It probably doesn't, at least in my opinion. So, if you go out there and buy, I don't even know, the Crown Zenith Pikachu, that's not a really a rare card. I would say probably, I don't even know, a lot of today's chase cards I don't think would necessarily qualify as Grails because they're not very rare. If there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of these cards, it's just not that rare. And I guess maybe an exception could be made, if it's the type of card where even if there's a ton of copies out there, there's none on the market or something like that because people are hoarding them. Maybe we can kind of get into that area of being a Grail card a little bit. But I just want to make sure we have these factors straight here because, it kind of takes the fun out of doing an actual chase for a Grail card if we basically start qualifying everything as a Grail card. Now, just for context, I'm going to show you what my Grail card is. A lot of you are going to roll your eyes and be like, oh, of course that's his Grail card. But you know what? For me, this really was an important card. I understand that for many people, it may even be like a boring card, but the truth is it meant a lot to me. And that's my first edition base set Charizard card. And why is this card a Grail card for me? Like, well, because when I grew up playing Pokemon in the late 90s and early 2000s, this was like such a mythical card, y'all. Like, I never even saw this card in person until I purchased it online back in 2020. Like, that's how rare this card was. I remember going to Books A Million and like trading with people and hanging out with my friends like in the neighborhood and talking about this card, seeing pictures of it in magazines. And like, I always dreamed of like owning one. You know, it has been a long-term pursuit of mine to own that card. So like the first factor of that test is met. You know, it was something that I wanted, and I went on this long quest of going to school and getting better jobs and like working hard to finally get to a point where I could afford it, right? Then the second factor, of course, it's very, very rare. I mean, like first edition base set, y'all, you have to understand, like living in Florida, as far as I understand it, we never even got first edition base set booster packs over here like for sale. Like we only got like unlimited and shadowless. So like I never even saw a first edition base set card like until I bought this card. Actually, I should say that. Like, not only was like this the first time I saw a base set Charizard card, this was the first time I saw a first edition base set card at all when I got this card. So I mean, that second test is met there too. And number three, you know, it's pretty expensive, you know, for someone who was in my income class at the time, and I had to like save my money to be able to get it for a while. So like I said, very, very stereotypical example of what a Grail card should be. But to me, like that was what my Grail card was. It was quite the chase, and I'm very happy to own it. Still doesn't qualify in my top 10 Pokemon cards of all time that are my favorites, but I just want to have a little context for that. I'm not saying your Grail card has to be, you know, a $10,000, $15,000 card, but like it should at least have some of those factors that we talked about, you know, like just be something you've been trying to get for a while, something that's, you know, a little pricey for someone, you know, in whatever your income class is, and something that's fairly rare and, you know, not just available at Walmart where you can just rip it out of a pack willy-nilly. So anyways, I know this video might upset some people, but I do think we need to kind of have the record straight in this hobby for what exactly a Grail card should be. So anyways, thanks for watching. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.